Today we are here to discuss Nekojima. This is a new Kickstarter release. It just recently came in. It's the collector's edition of it. Before we get into it, though, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down there so you can follow along in all of our exploits, hijinks, and so on. So this was kind of an impulse buy, so I wasn't really looking for this particular type of game because I don't typically buy dexterity games because I'm not very good at them. But it seemed like a fun theme and one that would be fun to get to the table with as kind of a party game. Kind of a melding, I guess, of style like Jenga or that kind of game. This is a 2023 release. It has a Board Game Geek rating currently of 7.8 and a rank of 5624. It's a 1 to 5 player game, average length of 15 to 30 minutes. That's probably about right if you don't blow it on the first or second turn.
You could just last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It could.
Age 7 and up, that's fine. I mean, if you get too much younger, there's probably going to be problems with people knocking them over and such, or playing with the pieces while you're trying to play. So it's designed by David Carmona and Karen Nguyen. Art is by Gilles Warmos, and it's published by Unfriendly Games. So the only unfriendly part of this game that we saw was giving cats to one another, right?
Yeah.
The deluxe version of this is up on Geek Market right now for US for $75 new, which I paid €79, which is roughly 87 new. So it's actually cheaper than what I paid for it. So if you're interested in this, you might want to check that out. There's a $70 like new copy, but it doesn't specify if it's a deluxe version or not. Or you can go to eBay and pay $229.58 and $40 plus shipping for this. If you're not interested in going through the Geek Market, don't do that. You can also pre-order this through GameFound for if late pledges for €85, which would be roughly $96 US. So let's talk about what you get in the box, the quality of components here. So you get a lot of wooden stuff, and this doesn't even have any purpose in the game. It's just really cool looking, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
But you get these, they almost look like garrots, but they're wooden poles of various length with string attached that's also various length in 3 different colors. And then you get a lot of cardboard bits that are all used for the variants of the game, except for the cats. The cats are used in the main game. You get some wooden dice that have, I guess they're screen printed, and maybe sticker heat transferred on there. I'm not sure, but they have different colors on each side. And the central board is actually a wooden board, which is really nice, and it's really well painted. I think as far as, the only complaint I have is the cardboard bits, but the problem is the weight of them. Since you're dangling them from the strings during the course of the game, you basically would have too much weight if you made it out of anything else. I think they could have maybe done balsa, but balsa might break and be more brittle. So the cardboard, I think I understand why they did it. I just would have wished it would have been something a little nicer than the cardboard. But it is good thickness of cardboard. It is solid. The only thing that's kind of flimsy is this kind of stick-like thing that's used in one of the expansions. I can't imagine I'm ever going to play with that expansion because this game is hard enough as it is. This thing makes it, I can't imagine how you would even play with this because it basically is adding and removing bits with the stick, which is just seems painful. So all in all, I think they've knocked this one out of the park. I mean, it's got a beautiful table presence. It's all solid wood and really thick string. I'm probably giving this a 10. What do you all think?
I mean, I would agree with that. 10.5.
10.5, you're going off the charts.
11.
All right. Okay, apparently they liked it even more than our chart allowed. So, yeah, I mean, there's just nothing that's done poorly in this. It's really well made. And like I said, you could leave this out as a centerpiece on your table and people are going to sit down and play with it. It's very attractive for especially teenagers, young kids. Young kids, you may not want them to play with it, but they're going to if it's sitting out. It definitely caught the eye. We had it's out at Thanksgiving, and the teenagers that we had visiting was all rushed to this when we were playing it. So
They did.
Yeah, it definitely caught everyone's eye. And you also, like you mentioned, you have this add-on that's kind of a crafting thing where I'm not even sure how you would do it, but it's got some kind of folding mechanism that you're supposed to, and they give you some patterns as far as what you can make out of it that's typically done. It's called furoshiki. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it's the art of folding it into squares and making crafts out of it. So it was a nice ad for something. It had nothing to do with the game, but it was cool.
So kind of like origami.
Yeah, it's kind of like origami.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, moving on to theme, it's completely layered on. You're basically creating telephone poles, and you're putting up the wiring, and all of this is supposed to be electrical wiring. So it follows kind of the rules of electricity. You can't have wires touching because you'll get a power surge. It'll fry the wiring. You can't have it grounding on the ground, otherwise you'll have a problem. And you can't have basically any of the cats cannot touch the wire to the ground or the pole, or they will also get fried. So you've got to when you have to place cats. Why we're torturing cats by hanging them on wires, I don't know. But the cats, it says, have 9 lives, so they're fine. So, but I mean, it's a creative thing. You can stack the poles as high as you want and as high as you have the capability of doing before you knock it down. But it's very Jenga-esque, but it's got its own unique flavor to it. While there isn't a lot of theme to the game, there is a lot of pretty art. So the painting job is really well done on here, especially the central board. It is beautiful. Just the disc, the art on it, the different colors have different. Each region has its own purpose, which comes in handy for some of the variants with the cats. There's specialized cats that have rules about where they like to be placed and so on. And it's all based upon those different regions. So, I mean, it doesn't really exude in theme from a gameplay. It's more almost like an abstract, but as far as the paint and the creativity of it, I'm going to give it a 7, I think. What do you think?
I mean, again, it is more of like an
abstract.
There you go. Yes. And so I think it's still a pretty fun and easy and still hard at the same time. So I'll bring it an 8.
An 8?
Yeah, deserves an 8.
Well, while I'm not sure what the Japanese theme has much to do with like connecting electrical poles and that sort of thing. I mean, it's just extra flavor for the game, I guess. Yeah. And you even have like we've mentioned twice now, that gate over there, just for extra flavor, just for that Japanese sort of.
Although it does kind of get in the way, you have to keep moving it around because it's right where you want to put things.
But it's still super pretty.
Yeah, and so I would say that I'm gonna give it a 7.
All right. So moving on to the rulebook. So the best part of this rulebook is it's only 4 pages long. It's super quick to get to the table. So, the first page, there's no cover. It just goes into the materials, the contents, and has counts. It does have pictures down here with little tiny letters that reference. So you do have pictures, but it's not great pictures. Then it goes into how to play, and the inside, it's got the different sides of the dice telling you what they mean, which is, pretty basic. You don't need a cheat sheet for this at all. It's very simple. Then it shows you how to place the poles. That you can't place them upside down. String has to be at the top, and various things like that. You can't have the poles touching the wood or the other cables. You can't wrap the cord around the poles, that kind of thing. And you have to only touch holding the poles. We'll get into all that with gameplay. It's got what the black cubes meanings are, which is referencing the cats. And then you have to verify your placement whenever you're done. And then it's got the different variants on the back and solo mode. So it's quick read. You're going to be getting this to the table in 5 minutes or less. It's not hard at all to learn this game. And then there's another sheet that has the variant rules in 2 different languages on front and back. There is a second rule book in the box that's for the French language. So you've got the French on the back. Why it's English and French, I don't know, but that's the 2 languages that you have. So I love the fact that this game has a rule book that is going to get you to the table quick, because once you get this out, you're going to want to get to playing it right away. People will be sitting there playing with the pieces, knocking things over. So you want to get it so that they understand and get to the table fast. Because otherwise, if the rule book were longer, it's not going to be worth the play because the gameplay is so short. So I'm probably going to give this rule book a 9. I don't think it was. Given the fact that this was a translation from Japanese presumably into English, I didn't see any typos. I didn't see any language translations, mistranslations, and it's very easy to understand how to play the game. So I think it does a good job. All right, so Sarah, you said you wanted to explain gameplay, so let you go through the gameplay.
Okay, so gameplay. So
first of all, this would be empty. There would be no tiles out there.
So it would be empty, and you're gonna take. So first, you're gonna roll the dice. Okay. So I got this. It's a black dagger,
and a red.
That and a red, red thing, and that's the orange one right here. And the black dagger means to my left. He gets to pick my color. So I can look at the board, since I know she's going to start at red. If I want to make it difficult for her, I can pick something that's more crowded like purple. I'll be nice and I'll give you green. Okay.
And then
then I have the red, so I have to do red to green. So first I have to draw a cube from this bag, and I got black.
Uh-oh.
Black means I can give it to anyone. Guess what? I'm going to give it to you, because I can.
Hey!
I mean, Daddy picked my color, so you're going to have to...
And what does the black cube mean?
The black cube means that he has to put on a cat.
On my turn.
Yeah, on his turn. He's going to do his move first, and whatever color he put down, which I'm about to draw. So let's say I got the black, and I pulled the teal. So I would have to get this untangled. Let's do this one. I would have to move to the red to the green. Okay, so let's do right here to maybe... Nope, can't be there. It's touching.
You can't touch the cable, though.
Oh, frick. Well, let's get another one. That one's not going to work. But you just have to really put one... You have to put a color on a color. So
Oh, be careful.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to ground it.
You probably want to get taller ones.
I probably do, yeah. It's probably a good idea. So, let's do that.
No, it's still touching.
Don't like this.
Ah!
Guess what? I lost. But if I did not lose, I would have to put a cat on a teal one. There was no other teal one, so I would have to put it on that one. But that's what that means. And so we lost.
But you lost.
I lost.
So then, if she had succeeded, it would pass to be, I would go through the same routine, roll the dice, draw a cube out of the bag, and I would place on to the 2 colors that came up, or, if I got the black dagger, where Alex would pick a color for me. If there's one that's got a rainbow where I get to choose the color myself, and I get to pick whichever area I want for that one. But you're always connecting 2 different regions, or potentially the same if you roll 2 of the same color. And the strings are going to determine which color of the poles you place. You can also stack poles, so if you don't have to go across on the level 1, you can play them on top of other poles, but you got to be very careful because that makes it more less structurally sound. So it's more likely that it's going to wobble. So you got to be very careful. You can hold the pole, but you can't hold the string as you're placing it. And if anything touches, you have to correct it before you can pass the turn. Also, if there's a cat hanging on the wire and you accidentally knock it off, you have to put the cat back on, even if you weren't the one who played it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it gets challenging as you go through. I think our best we've done is gotten about halfway to level 5. There's this little board that lets you keep track of the difficulty level. So if you get to, it's got the base game has through 7, and you've got 4 cubes that go in each slot. So you can see how much more challenging it's going to get as you get more cubes. And I think we got to 4.5 is roughly where we stopped on our best.
But then there's another one that's just a singular one that's an 8.
That's for an expansion when you play with the add-ons. There's 4 purple cubes that are used for the specialized cats. So, given the fact that they've already included a lot of variant ways to play this game, some of which seem outlandishly difficult because the game is already difficult as it is as you start going. I just don't see me playing with all of them, but it'd be worth trying some of them, I think. But it's a lot of fun. Everybody who's played it has enjoyed it, even though this may not be their type of game. Sarah, what did you think of it?
Okay. I thought this was an amazing game. So I'm going to rate it, not surprisingly, off the chart. Because obviously I can. Okay. Obviously.
Well, let's keep it realistic. So.
Oh. Well, then I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Because this is an amazing game. And it's just really fun. You can... I feel like it is like 6 or up. But if you be careful, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Even if you don't. It's pretty funny.
Alex, what are your thoughts?
Well, it doesn't surprise me too much that Sarah gave it a 10. Considering that this is definitely, a game that is kind of like, it's not a children's game per se. It's not really, but I would say that it's definitely, in that style of something that a kid would definitely enjoy. Mm-hmm. But it can be enjoyed by all ages. Yeah. Like you were saying, everyone that's played this game at any age has enjoyed it.
Yeah,
so
it's an amazing game.
It is really good. It reminds me a lot of Jenga or something like that. If I were to rate it, I would probably rate it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Gameplay.
Yeah, I'm probably right there with you as far as, given this is a unique style, it's not one I typically own. I'm glad I bought it. I think it's a fun, quick party game. There's a lot of bits to it. It does get a little cluttered on the table, and it is a little clunky as far as when you pick up some of the pieces. You can potentially knock over everything while you're playing. Just bumping the table very slightly, but then again, if you were playing any kind of dexterity game, that could happen.
Yeah.
That said, this is not like a lot. I mean, even though it's like Jenga, it's completely different feel on how to play it. You don't have like one tower that you're standing up. It's the fact that your wires and you got so many things to consider. I think there's more to it than like a Jenga. And because of that, and the fact that I think it's deserving of a score of 8.5, I think is a very good score for it.
Yeah.
So
I think it's 10 out of 10. You guys are weird, but
So, well, that's our thoughts on Nekojima. So if you did not know this one was out there, you might want to give it a look. If you enjoy party games, dexterity games, this is a fun one to have around the house. It's definitely something I'm glad I bought. I'm glad it's going to be there. I have a feeling it's going to be something that the cousins, when they come into town, are going to be asking to play again.
For sure.
So it's definitely one that's going to see the table a lot. And not to mention, it's beautiful. So, all right. So until next time, make sure you keep watching and we'll keep knocking things down.
Bye. Bye.